Hello, good morning po sa mga teachers natin ngayong umaga ito. And thank you so much, Sir Ian, for the introduction. And I'm so excited to be speaking in front of our teachers in the Philippines at syempre yung mga estudyante din natin dyan sa Philippines. And hopefully, yung masashare ko sa inyo this morning about my journey sa pagiging edu creator or pagiging content creator ko sa YouTube ay makapag-inspire ng mga teachers and individuals na mag-share ng kanilang kaalaman para naman yung ating mga educators ay mas dumami pa dito sa Philippines na magtaguyod ng science education sa bansa natin. So, thank you. And I guess this is my time to share yung aking experience not only as an educator dito po sa California, at pati na rin yung pagtuturo ko diyan sa Philippines through my YouTube channel. And ito rin yung dahilan kung bakit po ako naimbitahan ng Kasama. So maraming salamat po sa Kasama Teachers Community for inviting me and for letting me share my experiences sa pagiging edu creator. And hopefully, ay sa 30 minutes na pagsasama-sama natin ay maka-encourage talaga ako ng mga future edu creators natin na nanonood ngayon sa atin sa umaga ito. And speaking of mga nanonood ngayong umagang ito sa atin sa Facebook at sa mga social media, share nyo na yung live stream ng Kasama Teachers Community para naman mas marami tayo magsama-sama this morning, Saturday morning dyan sa Philippines. Pero ngayon po na nandito po ako sa California, I am speaking to all of you from the past dahil po ngayon po ay Biyernes pa lang ng gabi, alas 6:16 ng gabi ngayon sa California. At dyan naman sa Philippines ay 10:16 na ng umaga ng Sabado. And speaking of content creation, the power of YouTube, kaya ko po na pagdiskatahan na gamitin ng YouTube nung nag-uumpisa po akong gumawa ng mga contents because dun sa mga skills na natutunan ko dahil nandito po ako sa Amerika since 2005 at marami po akong natutunan at baon bago po ako pumunta dito sa Philippines. Pero isang bagay na hindi na ituro sa akin ng nanay ko, isang pagluluto. So, yung pagluluto, isa yan sa mga skills na natutunan ko sa panonood lang ng YouTube videos. So, pag may mga dishes ako na namimiss sa Philippines like adobo or sisig or sinigang, pupunta lang ako sa YouTube and manonood ng panlasang Pinoy and then i-replicate ko na yung mga napapanood ko sa YouTube para makakain ako ng mga dishes na namimiss ko. And another skill na natutunan ko sa panonood ng mga YouTube videos is yung pag-play ng ukulele. Dahil po dito po sa school ko, sa Barstow High School, nung siguro mga 2011 or 2012, medyo nauso yung mga estudyante na nagdadala ng ukulele. So I took advantage of yung fascination ng mga students sa pagtugtog ng ukulele and I challenged them and I told them na learning mathematics is similar to playing a musical instrument. I told them na wala akong background sa music, na hindi ako nagtutugtog ng gitara, pero I can prove to them that with practice, with perseverance, magagawa ng lahat na matuto ng mathematics the same way na magagawa kong tumugtog ng ukulele. And lo and behold, after 2 videos or 3 videos ang panonood ng tutorial lessons sa YouTube on how to play the ukulele, pagdating ng kinabukasan, tumutugtog na ako ng I'm Yours at saka Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Doon ko na naging learning experience ngayon, yung skill na natutunan ko sa YouTube to prove to my students that everything can be learned basta pagtsatsagaan lang. And yun yung isa sa mga skills na natutunan ko nga sa panonood ng YouTube. And then itong pandemic, which is pandemic pa rin naman ngayon, natutunan kong gupitan yung sarili ko dahil sa panonood ng YouTube. But way before that, medyo mahal kasi yung paggupit dito sa Amerika. So, yung kaibigan ko, si Lolo Ray, teacher din siya ng mathematics dito sa California. Bumili siya ng clipper and bumili siya ng gunting, and sabi niya sa akin, since mahilig rin lang akong manood ng YouTube and learn skills sa YouTube. So sabi niya kung kaya kong matutong magluto at maggitara, kaya ko rin matutong magupit by just watching YouTube videos. And yun nga ang nangyari. So yan yung isa sa mga skills na sobrang proud ako dahil after kong gupitan ng buhok si Lolo Ray, and then the week after that, yung mga friends namin dito sa California, around Barstow, pumunta na dito sa akin, and then ako na yung gumugupit ng buhok nila ng libre para makatipid naman sila ng konti. At yan yung mga skills na natutunan ko, especially ngayong pandemic. Ayan nga, ginupitan ko yung sarili ko dahil bawal lumabas. Kaya napilitan akong guntingin yung buhok ko. So ngayon po, ako pa rin yung nagupit nito since hindi naman medyo nagluluwag na yung restrictions ngayon sa California, pero ngayon medyo sobrang busy ko, so hindi ako makalabas. So I decided na ako na rin lang yung gupit. And ilan lang yan sa mga skills na natutunan ko sa panonood ng YouTube. And that's why I took advantage of this platform. Kaya noong nagsimula akong gumawa ng mga contents para sa Flip Classroom model ko noong 2013, naisip ko na kung itong mga skills na to na natututunan ko sa sarili ko, I'm sure kaya din tong gawin ng mga estudyante ko sa Barstow High School. So during that time, inuna kong gumawa ng content ng video sa mga statistics students ko para sa Flip Classroom model namin. And the reason why I did that, even before the pandemic, was because from isang oras ng pagtuturo sa klase, binawasan nila ng 10 minutes yung classroom period ko to give way for more elective classes. So I did the math at halos 300 hours yung mawawala sa buong taon. Kung hindi ako gagawa ng paraan, hindi ko maiituro yung kailangan nila matutunan sa buong curriculum. Kaya nag-decide akong gumawa ng mga sarili kong videos because sabi ko kung magbibigay ko ng mga videos sa mga estudyante ko, I want to do it right and I want to make sure that my students are watching me and not other teachers from YouTube to teach math. Kaya nag-decide ako na gawin yung buong curriculum ng statistics that year, and nakita ko yung improvement ng mga students ko at engagement ng mga students ko sa classroom habang nanonood sila ng aking video sa bahay. So sabi ko, ba't hindi ko gawin yung mga contents ko rin sa algebra class ko, sa calculus class ko, at saka sa trigonometry class ko na tinuturo ko that time. So noong 2013, wala pang pandemic, hindi pa uso yung mga edu creators, but I'm working my butt off para tapusin yung buong curriculum kasi naisip ko kapag natapos ko yung buong isang taon ng mga contents ko online, hindi ko na siya uulitin and pwede ko na siyang gamitin year after year after year. At yan nga yung nangyari sa akin nung academic year nung 2013 all the way to 2014. So gumagawa lang ako ng videos after ng school, 2:30 tapos na yung klase ko. So nasa school pa rin ako hanggang alas 6, alas 7 ng gabi, gumagawa ng mga contents para mapanood ng mga estudyante ko ng alas 6 ng gabi. So, ganun ang naging buhay ko noong 2013, and after doing my contents for 4 different subjects, umabot na pala siya ng 300 math videos at that time. So, for just a span of year, nakapag-produce ako ng ganito karaming content, at dahil din yan sa focus ko na makatulong sa mga estudyante ko sa Barstow High School. At diyan nagsimula yung paggawa ko ng mga content dahil nung panahon noon, before the pandemic, I wasn't thinking of becoming YouTube famous or earn a silver play button. Ni sa hinagap ay hindi ko po pinangarap na na makatikim ng konting popularidad pagdating po sa social media, pero dahil ang aking focus noon is para lang sa mga estudyante ko sa Barstow High School. At I guess yun yung isa sa mga formula na gusto kong i-share sa inyo, lalo na sa mga nag-iisip maging content creators na minsan overwhelming, especially kung gusto nyong maging ganito, gusto nyong I'm sure may mga iniidolo kayo mga YouTuber, and yun din yung naging isa sa mga let's say error ko nung panahon na yun. Masyado akong focus gayahin si Khan Academy, gayahin si Math BFF, and si Patrick MJT. And doon ako nagkaroon ng medyo stressful na paggawa ng mga contents. Pero na nag-focus lang ako na yung mga contents ko, ibibigay ko sa mga estudyante ko na wala lahat yon. Kaya nakapag-produce ako ng 300 videos, and then I decided na gumawa rin ng mga Filipino content kasi kung yung mga English version ko ay napapakinabangan ng mga estudyante dito sa Amerika, bakit hindi ko siya i-share sa Philippines? Because at that time, wala pang nag-Filipino o nagsasalita ng Filipino sa YouTube. So I decided na pagkatapos kong gawin yung mga contents ko in English para sa mga students ko sa Barstow High School, I was re-recording myself doon naman sa version ng English sa Filipino, para naman kung in case may makatisod ng mga content ko sa YouTube at that time, at least man lang meron akong Pinoy or mga Filipino students na makikinabang ng mga content ko. At dyan ako nagsimula. And when I started, nag-start ako using very minimal technology. Gamit ko lang noon is yung cellphone ko and then yung camera ng cellphone ko. So, syempre, hindi pa siya iPhone 13, iPhone noong 2011 or 2012 pa lang yung ginagamit ko noon, at saka yung camera ng computer ko sa pag-record ng mga contents, and then I'm using my marker at saka yung aking eraser, pati na rin yung aking whiteboard. So, iyan lang yung ginagamit ko, whiteboard, marker, at yung sarili kong handwriting, hindi pa sumusulat, pero yung sarili kong handwriting, ayan yung handwriting ko, sa paggawa ng content ko, noong gumagawa pa ako ng content, kasi I want to make sure na efficiently nakakapag-create ako ng content dahil tandaan natin for different subjects yung ginagawa ko ng content. So, kailangan ko maging efficient. So, ito yung ginamit ko. So, very minimal technology na noong nakasanayan ko na, pati sa bahay, gumagawa na ako ng content. So, napapansin nyo yan yung sa kusina ko. So, nagagawa ako ng content dun sa kabilang table, and dun sa kabilang table naman, kumakain yung bisita ko ng dinner namin. And dito ko na-realize na yung paggawa talaga ng content, mahirap lang sa umpisa, but once na kuha mo na yung sarili mong technique na nag-work para sa'yo, magiging madali na lang lahat yung paggawa ng content. And at the same time, kailangan yung goal natin is solid, which is to help our students. And at that time, actually, hindi lang noon, hanggang ngayon, kapag gumagawa ako ng content ko, lagi kong iniisip is yung estudyante ko sa classroom at kung paano nila matututunan yung content ko. At hindi ako nag-iisip kung sino-sino yung manonood sa akin na ibang mga estudyante, kasi pagka naging focus lang kayo sa certain group of students or certain group of students, mas lalabas at mas magiging komportable kayo sa camera sa pagtuturo nyo when you're creating your own content. At yan yung ginawa ko, at blessing na rin in disguise nga, sabi nga nila, dahil nagsimula yung pandemic noong March 2020, so magto 2 years na po tayong nasa pandemic, nag-migrate po yung aking live classes sa Chapman University, sa West Coast University, at saka sa Barstow Community College. So from teaching live students, bigla kaming nagturo online, at buti na lang, flipped classroom model yung ginagamit ko. So nakasanayan na ng mga estudyante ko na nanonood sila ng aking mga video sa bahay, and then sa classroom, puro hands-on activities na lang yung ginagawa namin. So yung note-taking hours ko, note-taking period ko, hindi ko na masyadong pinoproblema dahil ginagawa na nila yun sa bahay. And then pagdating sa classroom, mas marami kong oras sa kanila to give more hands-on experience sa mathematics, especially sa pagtuturo ko ng calculus, statistics, trigonometry, na nagre-require ng mas maraming oras na magbigay tayo ng example sa kanila para mas matutunan nila yung skills na kailangan nila matutunan doon sa mga math subjects na yan. So yan yung naging buhay ko during the pandemic. Nagtuturo po ako as a full-time math professor sa 3 universities. Actually, let's step back a little bit. Full-time math professor ako sa Barstow Community College, and then part-time pa ako sa Chapman University and sa West Coast. So may additional 4 classes ako on top of my regular 8 classes sa Barstow Community College at that time, at lahat yon online. And then on top of that, mini-maintain ko pa yung mga contents na ginagawa ko sa YouTube. At yan po ang aking munting tahanan dito sa Barstow, California. So kung nakikita nyo ako doon sa labas ng bahay ko, so ganyan ako gumagawa ng mga contents at ganyan ako nagbibigay ng webinar tulad ng ginagawa ko ngayong umagang ito sa inyo. So may setup ako at may sarili akong station dito sa sarili kong sala, and ito yung isa sa mga lagi ko ring sinasuggest sa mga teachers natin na magkaroon sila dapat ng sarili lang station para sa pagtuturo nila, at pati na rin sa mga students natin na nag-distance learning ngayon na having their own station would really help them para mas maka-adjust sila sa distance learning. So dito ko ginagawa yung mga lessons ko sa mga students ko sa college, and then pagdating naman ng gabi, doon naman ako nagbibigay ng oras ko sa mga teachers natin and students dyan sa Philippines. So during the pandemic, meron akong 2 trabaho, meron akong day job and night job. Yung day job ko is focused on my instructions sa mga students ko sa mga schools na tinuturuan ko dito sa California. And then pagdating naman ng gabi, which is umaga dyan sa Philippines, dyan ako nagbibigay ng mga webinars, and then tulad ng ginagawa natin ngayon, and then dito ko rin ginagawa yung paggawa ko ng content na hanggang ngayon ginagawa ko pa rin both in English and Filipino. So every time gumagawa ko ng content ngayon, laging 2 yung ina-upload ko para sa mga students ko sa California at sa mga students natin sa Philippines na magkaroon sila ng option na magkaroon ng lesson ko in Filipino. And yes, naka-shorts lang ako. So, formal on top, and then sa bottom, naka-shorts lang tayo pagka gumagawa tayo ng content. At yan yung aking mga ginagawa as a content creator, and hopefully ma-share ko sa inyo, at magkita-kita tayo next week para ma-share ko naman sa inyo kung ano yung mga techniques na ginagawa ko sa paggawa ko ng content ngayon, mga softwares na ginagamit ko, mga equipments and technology, at kung paano ko na improve, or let's say, I don't want to say improve, pero nag-level up yung aking paggawa ng contents from low-tech to this kind of technology. And syempre, sa mga teachers din natin, kaya patuloy pa rin akong magawa ng content, is I know na mahirap gumawa ng content, especially kung yung mga teachers natin wala masyado silang skill when it comes to content creation. But instead of being a creator, teachers can also be a curator. At yun din yung gusto kong i-share sa inyo, kasi yung ating mga contents nasa website ko. So gumawa na rin ako ng sarili kong website, numberbender.com. So if you wanna check it out, andyan po yung ating mga lessons para sa grade 7 until grade 12, pati na rin sa mga senior high school na general mathematics, pre-calculus, basic calculus, and statistics. In Filipino, nandyan sila lahat sa Numberbender, and you are of course free to use yung aking mga content dahil lahat naman ng ginagawa ko ngayon sa YouTube channel ko, it's my little contribution para po sa math and science education natin sa Philippines, dahil yan din po ang isa sa mga reason kung ba't po hanggang ngayon gumagawa ko ng content, is because I know na with my little contribution, I'm sure may matutulungan akong teachers, estudyante, parents na nag-a-aspire na magkaroon ng career sa STEM, syempre sa pag-umpisa sa mga math classes nila through my content video. And noon din pong start ng pandemic, marami tayong naging content creators ngayon tulad nila Sir Joff at saka ni Sir Justin at yung iba pa natin mga content creators. I'm sure may mga content creators tayo dyan ngayon na nanonood. And ako naman, since meron na akong library of videos for mathematics, I decided naman na mag-live streaming. So every week nagbibigay ako ng live streaming, at ito yung inumpisan ko sa Kumu. And hello, happy Friday everyone. Si Prince Kaiser. Hello din. Ayan, na-distract na ako sa inyong, and happy Valentine's Day, belated. Hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali tayo magsasama-sama, at sana hindi ako masyadong maubusan ng oras maganda pa yung buhok ko doon. Pero yes, yan yung aking live streaming na ginawa ko noong start ng pandemic. And I did that because I know that when I'm creating videos and creating content, my main focus and my goal is to teach and not to entertain. And yung entertainment, ano lang siya, in my case, result nung enthusiasm ko to help. Pero yung aking main goal is to always keep in mind na I'm doing this because I want to teach students who are struggling in mathematics through my videos. And kung meron mang entertainment value silang nakukuha from watching my videos, is bonus na lang yon because yun yung magiging effect ng mga contents na pinoproduce natin. And isa din ito sa mga dahilan at rason kung ba't hindi ako masyadong nasistress kapag gumagawa ng content. And aside from creating content and doing live streaming sa YouTube, noong 2015, nag-start naman ako na magsulat ng research on flipped classroom model and yung positive change na nadudulot ng panonood ng mga math contents ng mga students doon sa classroom natin, doon naman sa performance nila sa classroom. So kasi gusto kong matest at gusto ko rin ma-make sure, kasi challenge ako ng mga kaibigan ko noon, hanggang ngayon naman kaibigan ko, na paano ka nakakasigurado na yung mga videos na pinoproduce mo ay nakakatulong sa mga estudyante mo? And paano ka nakakasigurado na yung flipped classroom model ay nag-work sa mga students na nanonood ng mga contents mo? So sabi nila, actually inuuto lang nila ako kasi gusto talaga nila akong gumawa na at magsulat ng research. So sabi nila, kailangan kang gumawa ng scientific research just to see and to prove na hindi nakaka-harm yung ginagawa mong model sa mga estudyante. And that's what I did. So gumawa ako at sumulat kami ng research and we tested our math contents doon sa students' attitudes towards mathematics. And from that research, nakita namin na nagkaroon ng positive increase doon sa attitudes ng mga students na binigyan namin ng yung mga nanonood ng mga video contents ko dito sa Barstow High School. So yung level of confidence nila, enjoyment, yung value nila sa mathematics, nag-improve yan mula dun sa research na ginawa namin. And then, nagbunga pa siya. Sumulat rin kami about students' performance naman sa algebra. So, nakita namin na nagkaroon din ng difference. Yung mga hinati namin yung estudyante ko na nanonood ng video or nasa flipped classroom model at yung mga students naman namin na traditional na walang gumagamit na videos. And nakita namin yung difference doon sa grupo ng mga estudyante. Nakita nyo yung pula, yun yung increase nila doon sa performance nila in algebra. At yung nasa baba naman, yun naman yung mga nasa traditional. And tinest din namin yung usability ratings ng paggamit ng mga content videos ng mga students habang nanonood sila ng mga math videos ni Dr. E. At nakita namin na ito yung perception ng mga estudyante namin. So they perceive na useful siya and clear as opposed to confusing and dull and boring. And at the same time, since nagtuturo ako sa university, so what I did was I used my content at na-test namin, nakita namin na meron gender difference doon sa gamit ng mga contents ng mga estudyante. And dito, mas nagpe-perform yung mga female students na nanonood ng content base doon sa research namin. At yung latest research na sinusulat namin is nag-pilot kami ng group of schools sa Laguna. So meron kaming 17 schools sa Laguna, mga high schools, and tinest namin yung usability, yung performance ng mga estudyante sa paggamit ng mga OERs or yung Open Educational Resource, which is paggamit ng mga contents and videos, at nakita namin yung positive gains ng mga students na nanonood ng videos in Filipino, mga students na nanonood ng videos in English, at yung control group namin ng mga students na gumagawa or kung gumagamit ng mga contents na hindi in-assign ng mga teachers nila. And yung research na latest na yan, mapapublish na namin yan very, very soon, and I would love to share it with you, and I'm sure na magiging interested din kayo sa naging result ng aming research on this venture. At yan nga, yun nangyari sa akin. So from content creation, teaching flipped classroom model to my students, and writing research to prove na nagwo-work yung paggawa natin ng content. I was able to travel the world and nakapus na ako sa Berlin, sa London, pati na rin sa Abu Dhabi. At yung pinakita ko mga research sa inyo, yun yung sinishare ko sa mga bansa na naiimbitahan ako. And noong bago magpandemya, yun yung ginagawa ko sa Philippines. So every time na umuwi ako, pumupunta ako sa mga schools at sinishare ko yung research ko and i-encourage ko sila na gumawa ng mga contents. And then pandemic hits, and nakita nila na yung importance nung binigay ko sa kanila before the pandemic, nagamit agad nila dahil dun sa mga shinare ko sa kanila. At yan yung mga mumunting wins or little wins na na-experience ko sa pagiging content creator, na nabigyan din tayo ng pagkakataon na ma-feature sa ABS-CBN, sa GMA7, pati na rin sa The 700 Club, at na-feature nila yung mga ginagawa ko as an educator dito sa California at kung paano ko to sinishare sa mga students and teachers natin sa Philippines. At ito yung little kwento ko sa inyo. So, story time about yung mga contents ko. So, bago pa mag-pandemya, ito si Sir Joseph Madrinan, na isa sa mga research team ko na nagsusulat doon sa latest research namin. Math teacher siya sa Philippine Science High School, and nag-reach out siya sa akin noong 2016 o 2017 at sabi niya nga na ginagamit niya yung aking mga contents para sa mga students niya sa Pisay. At nagulat ako kasi ang purpose ko sa paggawa ng content is really to help struggling students sa mathematics. And I'm not really thinking na pati pala yung mga students natin na sobrang tatalino na sa mathematics nakikinabang din ng mga contents natin. At yan yung unang encounter ko with Sir Joseph Madrinan. Sinare niya nga kung paano niya ginagamit yung mga contents ko. And then, nag-reach out din sa akin si Ma'am Carol ng Pasay naman, so from Pisay to Pasay. At ito naman yung story namin ng pagkikita ni Ma'am Carol sa Pasay.
Last year was pretty special when I visited the Philippines during my Thanksgiving holiday. I was contacted by Miss Carolyn Barreto. She asked me if I could visit her school because her students wants to see me. And there I was welcomed by her students. And to my surprise, I never thought that her students are students with special needs. I would like all of you to meet Joseph. Joseph is now in 9th grade. He sent me an email. He was so excited to tell me that he passed his math class.
Hi, Dr. E. Thank you so much for teaching us in math. So I will graduate for grade 9. Thank you.
Joseph is just one of the many students of Miss Barreto that is utilizing my math videos so they could experience normalcy in their classroom. To be honest, as a teacher of 15 years, I have never fully understood the meaning of equity in helping my students achieve. But thanks to Miss Barreto and her students in Pasay City National High School, not only that I'm fully understanding what equity means, but I'm also helping the students with special needs and their parents to make them realize that everything is possible.
At yan yung munti naming kwento ni Ma'am Carol. So, from Pisay students to Pasay students or na mga students natin na mas nangangailangan ng tulong sa mathematics ay nabibigyan natin ng normalcy sa pamamagitan ng mga contents. At yan yung mga little gifts na na-receive ko as a content creator na hindi ko na-expect. And sabi nga nila, basta yung hangarin mo is maganda, magbubunga siya kahit hindi mo iniisip kung ano yung magiging resulta. So, pagdating sa pagtulong, especially ngayong pandemic, so we just need to give time from ourselves. Hindi naman kinakailangan na monetary, basta kung ano yung kaya nating maitulong, itulong natin. And me, since teacher ako, yung gift of education ay pwede kong i-share at yun yung ginagawa ko ngayon na pagtulong natin sa education natin sa Philippines. And yan, nandito tayo sa YouTube, andito tayo sa Facebook, andyan tayo sa TikTok, andyan tayo sa Twitter, pati na sa Instagram. So, pati TikTok, yes, meron tayong mga contents na binibigay doon ngayon dahil kung meron naman tayong platform na pwedeng pag-sharean, so might as well use it dahil yan yung power ng technology. Kaya nga po, kahit nandito ako sa California ngayon at nandiyan kayo sa Philippines, kahit magkaiba yung time zone natin, we're still able to interact and still share kung ano man yung meron tayo ngayon at maraming salamat po sa inyo sa pagbibigay nyo ng oras sa akin sa panonood and antabayanan nyo po yung ating mga content creators, si Sir Joff at saka si Sir Justin. At I'm sure makaka-relate kayo sa mga experiences nila on content creation and hopefully kayo rin mag-start na rin ng sarili ninyong YouTube channel or pati na rin TikTok para mas marami tayong educators na tumutulong sa mga students natin na mag-aral ng STEM. So maraming salamat po.
Now, I'll hand over to our next speaker. This time we have Teacher Justin Labadnoy. So again, he'll be talking about math content din and sa TikTok and also sa YouTube. Tama ba, Teacher Justin? Yung mga
Hello,
platforms
good
mo?
morning to everyone. Yes, I'm also an edu creator sa YouTube and sa TikTok. So,
TikTok.
ayun, thank you for having me here and sobrang nakaka-inspire si Dr. E, no? Sobrang natutuwa ako doon sa kanyang sharing and sana I can also influence or motivate each one of you na makagawa ng inyong sariling educational content for your subjects. Okay, so since we will start, let me share my story. Paano ako nagsimula? How did Teacher Justin started? My origin story. Yan. Hindi superhero pero meron tayong origin story. So, let me share my screen. Ayan, wait lang. Eto, tada. Okay, so, ayan. Ayun. Okay, thank you. So, hi, I'm Teacher Justin and ngayon lang actually, last year lang ako nagsimula maging edu creator or a content creator sa YouTube or sa mga social media platform. And this is how I started. So, during the pre-pandemic, I'm just a regular teacher. Sorry for using the word just, but I am a regular teacher, normal teacher. I go to school, teach, and then go home and check papers and so on and so forth. Tapos, nagbago yung lahat ng yun. Okay? Nagbago yung lahat ng yun when pandemic start. Nagsimula yung pandemic. So, breaking news, no classes. Walang transportation, bawal lumabas, no classes, nagbago lahat. So, me being a normal teacher who go to school every day, parang nagbago yung aking environment. And I love teaching. The reason why I teach is I want to share my knowledge to my students. So, parang the world changed when we had this pandemic. Nawala ng pasok, I miss my class, I miss my students. How will I deliver my lesson? Yun yung question ko, paano na ang education sa Philippines? Okay, so yun yung mga katanungan ko nung nag-hit tong pandemic na to. Tapos, syempre, since kalagitnaan siya or padulo na ng school year, yung ating, yung pandemic, okay, school year 2019-2020, it's March, no? So, ang ginawa namin, since naputol yung school year, we ask our student to do home study and completion of requirements kasi naputol eh. And during that time, I was teaching Pythagorean theorem and we gave them our PowerPoint presentation. Tapos ginawa ko yung handout, sinend ko sa mga students ko for them to accomplish or to complete their requirements. Yun yung nangyari ng school year 2019-2020. And some of my students messaged me. Ito yung nangyari, bakit ako nag-transition from offline to online. May mga nagtanong sa akin, Sir, paano po ito? Sir, paano po ba yung sagot ko? Tama po ba yung sagot ko? Sir, paturo. Sir, pwedeng magpa-consult and so on and so forth. So inisip ko, well, makakapagturo ba ako online? Paano ko siya i-deliver? Are they free to have an online Zoom meeting? Ganyan. Mag-online class ako, something like that, na kino-consider ko. Then, it hit me. I had an idea. Sabi ko, why not record my lecture? Ito yung parang pre-start ni Teacher Justin. I use my cell phone, my laptop, a piece of paper and a pen, And I start recording my discussion para makatulong sa pang-complete ng mga students. For completion ng mga students ko. So, I created my video. And this is my personal YouTube channel. So, my YouTube account. And I uploaded my recordings of my lesson for that school year 2019-2020. Nirecord ko siya. Low budget video, tapat camera, tapos tapat sa paper, tapat sa laptop, and so on and so forth. Ganun ko siya ginawa. Tapos, sinend ko sa mga students ko, and luckily, nakatulong siya sa pag-complete nila ng mga requirements for school year 2019 and 2020. And that was just the start. Parang nagsimula ako, iniisip ko lang mga students ko, this is for my students. So I will just upload this. Wala naman makakapanood nito, kundi estudyante ko lang. So I upload it sa aking YouTube channel. So this is just my personal account. And active pa naman siya, yung mga videos na to. Then we ended our school year 2019-2020. Tapos, our school advised us to learn what will happen. Ano bang mangyayari? What is blended learning? What is asynchronous, synchronous discussion or classes? So, nagkaroon ng mga multiple seminars and so on and so forth. So, we attended seminars. Tapos, when mga mid-May, something like that, DepEd announces that we will have an online setup. We will go back to school, pero not actual school. Hindi sa actual na school kami babalik. Pero we will transform to an online setup. So ito, nabalitaan namin. So ano kailangan namin gawin? We're not ready for online classes. Yun yung worry ko bilang isang teacher na traditional who teaches dun sa sa classroom, sa actual classroom. I'm not used to seeing my student sa screen. I'm not used to teaching in front of a monitor. So, ayun nga, advice sa amin, attend webinars, learn different strategies how to teach online. And I attended a very special seminar na nag-inspire sa akin at nag-motivate sa akin. And balikan natin yan mamaya. And that is yung webinar last April 22, 2020. And that is switching from offline to online by Coach Laika Maravilla. If you're very familiar with her, she's also an edu-creator sa YouTube. And nagbigay siya ng talk. Ano ba yung reason kung bakit natin kailangan mag-convert to offline to online this pandemic? What will be the purpose of that? And how did she start working on her YouTube channel? And how did she grow her YouTube channel? Ano yung purpose niya for creating her videos? And this webinar that I watched, nagbigay ng spark sa akin na oo nga no, masasagot ko na yung mga katanungan ko for online setup, which are, ito yung mga problems na may encounter ko. Okay, here are the problems that I might encounter. So I list down: poor internet connection, technical problems, student engagement, absences. So what if they missed something during my online classes? Anong ibibigay ko? Will I repeat myself? Will I grabe ako mag-overthink during this time. I overthink. So, what will I do as a teacher? Na if my student or me encountered a internet connection problem, technical problem, what if my student is not around during my online discussion, our synchronous time? Will my worksheet, where my books or workbooks be helpful sa kanila during the time na wala sila sa discussion? So I think again and reflect what is the best way to reach those students who are having this problem, or if ever ako man yung nagka-problem. Ito yung mga main problems na na-encounter ko during the first year of online teaching. So I decided to make my YouTube channel. I decided to create my social media platforms as as a platform for education. So, thinking of my 3 goals. Sige, if I'm going to start a YouTube channel, what are the things that I will be, let me rephrase that. Sige, Tagalogin ko na nga lang, para kanino yung mga videos na gagawin ko? Para kanino? So, I have these 3 things in mind why I started my YouTube channel. First, for my student. For my student. Emphasis for the word my. Kasi iniisip ko naman para sa mga estudyante ko. In the very first place, estudyante ko. Past, present, and future students. Yun yung first goal ko para sa kanila. Second is for teachers. For teachers who are having technical problems, who had poor internet connections. So, they can use my videos to send to their students para matuto. So, second goal, second objective ko, or second, para kanino yung videos ko is for teachers. And last one is for my own educational library or content library. Educational online library of content for mathematics. Magkaroon ako ng videos for every math lessons. Kasi I was inspired by my previous teachers sa mathematics. When I needed help, I asked them, Sir, paano po to? Ma'am, paano po yung math? Paano po i-solve yung mga math problems? So, tinuturuan nila ako. And what if the teacher is not available? So, dito papasok yung mga content, library of videos, educational videos for mathematics na I can just copy the link, send it to my student, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. Okay? I'm not available right now, pero you can watch this video first. Tapos, pag may tanong ka pa rin, you can ask me. Parang ganon. So, I will use this as my own library of educational content or videos na masashare ko sa mga future students ko or past students ko who are trying to review or trying to have advanced reading or advanced lesson. So itong 3 goals, dito umiikot kung bakit ako gumagawa ng videos or content sa YouTube at sa TikTok. Tapos, syempre, I need some skills in order for me to create educational videos. Kasi I'm just irregular or normal teacher back then. Hindi ako agad naging edu-creator by the snap of a finger. I need to learn skills. I need to learn some things. How to become an edu-creator. So I watch videos on how to create a YouTube channel, how to record your screen, how to make thumbnails to make better engagement, how to use softwares to record or to enhance my video production, how to edit videos, and so on and so forth. So nanood ako ng mga educational videos on how to start a YouTube channel. And again, nagsimula to nung napanood ko yung webinar ni Coach Laika. That is April 22. So I have ilang araw pinapanood ko. I'm binge watching some how-to videos in order for me to create my educational content. How to start my YouTube journey. So watch ako, binge watch, ganyan. And then I started trying to watch some educational content creators like Coach Laika. Ayan, pinanood ko kung paano siya magturo kasi I need to learn how to deliver my topic. So I look at how Coach Laika teaches her subjects, her topics, and paano yung format niya. How did she deliver her lesson? Okay? Tapos si number vendor din. Kaya idol ko si Sir Esperanza or Dr. Esperanza because I saw his account, his YouTube channel before pa. Nung nagsisimula ako, napanood ko yung videos niya and then I was amazed kung paano siya magturo. So, sige, inaral ko si Dr. E, si Coach Laika, And I'm a fan. I became a fan of their work, and sobrang sinusundan ko yung kanilang production. Paano ba sila gumagawa? So I try to adapt their um, methods, their way. And other content creators like Wonderful Equation, Roel Carpio, STEM teacher, they are my inspiration in creating my own um, educational journey. So, doon ko binase sa kanila. I look at their videos, I look at their way, their technique, their strategy, and sabi ko, how can I add my own flavor to their content? Paano ko malalagay yung tatak Teacher Justin dun sa mga videos na ginagawa nila ng content? So, ako, paano ba ako magturo sa klase? So, inisip ko yon. I don't want to really copy them 100%. I just want to inspire myself to work like them and apply myself, okay, kung paano ako magturo sa classroom, paano ko i-deliver yung lesson, and then be Teacher Justin. Be who I am in my class, sa klase ko, and then apply ko sa YouTube ko din. So, good. And then I started working my YouTube channel. Ito, si Teacher Justin. I started with this, with 5 subscribers. Yan. Tapos, to practice my skills on video editing and facing the camera, kasi I'm not used to it, I started working on my videos. And my content did not start with math content. Nagsimula ako ng teacher helping teachers na program. Parang inisip ko, wala pa naman akong loading for the next school year. Wala pa akong topic na ituturo for next year, for next school year. Why not have practice? Practice myself to face the camera and teach. Paano ba magturo sa ganitong setup? Ganun ako nagsimula. So, tinignan ko, I try to edit using the following softwares that I have. Okay? Tulad nga ng sinabi ni Dr. E na I started cheap. So, yung mga videos na to is medyo low quality. Having my cell phone, tripod, facing the camera, minsan video recording of the screen. And then, eto, sinimulan ko yung program na to, Teachers Helping Teachers na setup. So, I look for things that can be useful during the pandemic, how teachers will adapt to a certain traditional setup to online setup. So, gumawa ko ng mga videos na pwedeng makatulong sa mga teachers natin out there. So, ito, I started with this. And nakakatuwa na marami akong teachers na natulungan, na may mga nagme-message sa akin na teachers na, Teacher Justin, thank you for this video. This is very helpful. Nagamit ko po itong platform na to or itong software na to in transitioning from online setup. And that was good. Sobrang nakakatuwa na marinig silang nakakatuwang marinig na nakatulong yung mga videos ko. And then I started planning for my next school year. Binigyan na ako ng loading. So I list down the things that I will need, I will use for my video creation. So here are some list of things na sinulat ko. First, my guide, academic guide, learning plans, to have a flow of my lessons. Yung resources ko, mga textbooks, handout, online resources. So I list down all the things I need in order for me to prepare myself in video creation. I think this will be, magkakaroon tayo ng more in-depth discussion on this next week. So the skills that I'm going to use or need is video editing, delivering the lesson, software, mga softwares na sa tingin ko gagamitin ko. So MS PowerPoint, Windows Movie Maker, Filmora 9, Open Broadcast something, and so on. Tapos equipment. So I list down all the things that I need. Okay? Pero yung during that time, wala pa akong USB microphone. So I'm using my headphone or earphones. yung laptop ko, yung lumang laptop ko pa na 5 years old na. And yung phone ko na, you know, sanhi pa na, yun, lumang phone na binili ko during the first year of teaching ko pa. So, yun. So, nagsimula ako low-tech talaga. So, nilista ko lang mga kailangan kong gawin and I start working on my videos and content. And here are my videos. So, tuloy-tuloy lang sa paggawa. I started making videos one at a time, one topic at a time. I was assigned to grade 8 and grade 9 classes. So, halo yung aking ano. So, yung green dyan, yung green na template, thumbnail, that's for grade 9. Tapos yung orange for grade 8. So, yun yung color coding kasi sa school namin. Yellow is for grade 7, orange for grade 8, green for grade 9, pink sa grade 10, and blue and red sa junior and sa senior. So, yun, doon ko binasa yung mga videos ko. And I send this to my student every time we end discussions. Pag natapos kami na mag-class or mag-discuss, I will post it sa aming learning management system. So sa Teams, kasi yun yung ginagamit namin. So I post it. If ever they miss the class, they can revisit my videos and they can watch it. Kung gets na nila yung lesson, then hindi na sila magpapaschedule for consultation. And yun din yung nabawas sa aking mga additional tawag dito sa mga pagiging, di ba sa pagiging teacher meron tayong mga consultation period with the student if ever they miss something and they're asking for help, di ba, we schedule a consultation with them to teach them kung ano yung na-miss out nila. So ngayon, instead of them rescheduling, they're just watching our videos. Pinapanood lang niyo yung videos ko. And then, pag may additional questions lang sila, saka lang sila magtatanong. And yun yung nakatulong sa akin sa pagtuturo ko. Hindi na nadadagdagan yung oras for consultation, more on the activity, answering of the activities na lang, exercising. My videos will not serve as replacement for me. Di ako papalitan ng mga videos ko. This will just be a supplement pagdating sa learning process. So, I'm using this as my library of educational content na pwede kong ibigay sa mga students ko if ever they're not around during the discussion. And if ever they want to review or recap. So yun, focus talaga sa mga estudyante ko yung mga content ko last year. Tapos, nung nakakagawa na ako ng YouTube videos ko, sabi ko, I need to show more examples. And how will I provide more examples? So I decided to use the TikTok platform. And we're familiar with TikTok. And TikTok is an entertainment platform. And I don't see it as an entertainment platform kasi marami din namang nagtuturo doon, educational content. So why not be one of those TikTokers who are trying to share their knowledge to their viewers. So yun, nakita ko siya as a platform for education. So sige, let's use TikTok and sharing short lessons sa TikTok. Short math lessons like divisibility rules, multiplicity rules, LCD, GCF, and so on and so forth. So I use this platform as parang pagbigay ng more examples. One example or one item per video. Kasi we know our students, they will be everywhere. And TikTok is kung saan sila nakatambay. So doon sila nanonood ng mga videos nila. So why not be there also? And if ever makita nila yung mga videos mo, di ba, matututo na rin sila. Hindi lang sila natuwa sa TikTok, natuto rin sila. So yun yung aking reason kung bakit ako nag-transfer din sa TikTok. And I see TikTok as a platform wherein I can give more example. So from a small following, ayan, biglang dumami because students are asking, Sir Ped, meron po ba kayong topic about this? Sir, meron po ba kayong topic about that? So I give them examples, one item per video. Kasi 1 minute lang naman yun sa TikTok before eh. So I can give one example and then create another video for another example. So TikTok will serve as my platform for more examples na hindi ko nabigay sa YouTube. Ayan. So, yun, nagsimula ako June 6 ng 2020 ng TikTok. And now, I reach 33,000 followers already. Ayan. Pero hindi ako nagsasalita sa TikTok kasi I use it nakatapat lang sa whiteboard tapos I show my solution. And di ba sa mathematics, ang key naman doon para ma-master mo yung isang topic is repetition. You're just going to repeat the same method, the same steps over and over again in order for you to master kung ano ba talaga yung gagawin. And once na nakita mo yung pattern, you will know what to do when you encounter this certain problem. So, yun. Di ko kailangan mag-explain sa TikTok kung paano siya mag-step-by-step procedure kasi I have that already in my YouTube channel. So, sa TikTok, more examples lang ako. Yun yung strategy ko. And then, I started creating my Facebook page. Eto, let me show you my Facebook page. Let me show you my Facebook page. So, gumawa ako ng Facebook account. Eto, Teacher Justin. Wherein, I use this platform also to upload. Ayan, hindi ako nag-upload lately. To upload mga math jokes and math facts that can be useful and can be, ayan, math facts. Eto, ayan, math jokes. Para di ba, kahit yung math, hindi siya ganun tawag dito, kasaya, pero at least you can have jokes, di ba? Can be entertaining then at the same time. So, we have mathematics or math jokes for my page na nasa-share ko. And I can also use this as some platform to share my videos. And yun. So, overall, my origin story is really thinking of my students. How will I help them? And if you're planning to start, kung kinakabahan kayo, don't worry, nagsimula din kami doon. Kinakabahan kami mag-post ng videos, gumawa ng content, what will people think if nagkamali kami or what? Do we have any errors in our videos? Marami kaming iniisip during our first few videos. And until now, meron naman kami mga ganong thinking. Pero, always go back to your goals. Ako, I will always go back to my 3 goals. Let me show you my 3 goals again. I will always go back to my 3 goals. And my 3 goals are for my students, for my fellow teachers, and for my own educational content or library of content or educational content. So yan, dito umiikot lahat. And once you have this, your goal, sunod-sunod na yung mga videos na gagawin nyo. Okay? Kung alam nyo yung objective nyo as a teacher and you're not looking for fame or you're not doing it for fame, for monetization or what, it's only for your students, then sila lang yung isipin mo. Sila lang yung isipin nyo as a teacher. And go for it. And ako, nag-trial and error lang ako. I tried this method and then I try a different method and then I try another method on teaching here on YouTube and TikTok. Kung ano yung mas effective, stick to it. Pero try your best to explore. Diba? Sabi nga nila, laging 1% better than the previous video. 1% better than yesterday. So yun lang yung iniisip ko lagi pag gumagawa ako ng video for my students and how can I improve myself, my educational content? How can I improve it? And doon ako nag-start. Tapos nagla-live na rin ako sa TikTok tulad ng ginagawa ni Dr. E. So I do live. So kung paano ko magturo sa klase, ganun lang din ako nagtuturo sa live class ko sa TikTok. So I use TikTok Live as a platform to share my knowledge for in mathematics. So I hope nakatulong po itong araw na to sa atin. And let me share this to you. Okay? If ever you're planning to start, you don't have to be great. Hindi kailangan sobrang perfect ng videos ninyo or sobrang galing nyo na agad. Okay? Pero remember that you have to start first before becoming a better creator. So magsimula bago tayo maging magaling, di ba? And remember that big journey begins with small steps. So step-by-step procedure. Learn, adapt, and then execute. And di nyo mapapansin na nakagawa na ako ng 191 videos for YouTube and 300 plus videos on TikTok. So, yon. Hindi ko na malaya na ganun na pala karami yung mga videos ko. And I hope na nakatulong ako sa ating sharing for today. And let me give more kung paano ko gumawa ng educational videos for next week. So, abangan nyo next week. I will be sharing kung paano ako gumawa ng content. And I hope you'll be there para matuto kung paano ako mag-start. Simple lang talaga. Sobrang simple lang akong gumawa. Low budget din. Okay. So, thank you po.
So again, good morning everyone sa ating mga kasamang nagtuturo, mga teachers at mga estudyanteng nanonood din sa ating Facebook live. I'm Joffrey De Los Reyes, but you please call me na lang Joff. And I will be sharing you the TikTok journey ni Seikagaku Sensei. So, yan. So, konting Seikagaku Sensei, pero kung ano na lang tayo ay you pronounce na lang natin siya na Seikagaku Sensei. So, para malumanay siya. So, just a brief etymology ng aking pangalan. So, this is, derived siya from Japanese word Seikagaku, which means biochemistry, and then Sensei is teacher. Nung kino-conceptualize ko kasi itong name na to, kasi ako sa, medyo close din ako sa culture ng Japan. So, kaya nagamit ko to. And then, dati kasi parang mechanism ko to na i-hide ko muna yung sarili ko sa mga students na I also have TikTok. Then later on, shinare ko lang din sa kanila. So, I started February 4, 2021, this year lang. And as of now, I have 166 videos posted and counting. So, as a content creator, I'm doing bio and chemistry. So, biology and chemistry. And then, in general, ay science, mga contents about science. I'm also doing home-based experiments, and I also offer some study tips and tutorials. Okay. So, ito na yung parang cloud, word cloud ng aking TikTok content. So, ang ginawa ko last night, I counted all my, I classified all my TikTok videos. And then, tingnan ko kung saan nakakategorize siya. So, yung the bigger the word, so yun yung mas, na nagawan ko ng madaming content. So, we have biochemistry, we have organic chem, we have general chemistry. I also do problem solving, yung sa buhay guro ngayong online class and nung face-to-face, we know, di ba parang napaka ng mga memories nung face-to-face na gustong-gusto na natin siyang balikan. And then I also do some alternative experiments. I conceptualize an alternative equipment and experiments. So, hindi naman natatapos lang na puro science content lang kasi baka, alam nyo na, baka sabihin, mabubore ka na sa content. So, I also do some about myself, yung sayaw-sayaw din, o kaya kanta, and then some fun moments para naman maano lang naman yung mood. And eto, medyo kakaiba siya kasi the way I introduced kanina I'm on more of science content, but I also nakatouch din ako sometime ng history contents. And then mga botany, physics, and yung mga ibang like food and friends. So yan yung lahat ng mga nagawan ko na ng content. So I'm starting pa lang naman po na content creator, hindi pa siya ganun kalaki. But ang purpose kasi nito is yung impact, yung content, yung impact ng content sa ating mga nanonood. So that matters most sa akin. Not the numbers, not the fame. And yun nga, sinasabi ng ating first two speakers, yun ang ating prime na goal, yung to educate, to share to others. Okay. So allow me to share with you yung mga most liked and most viewed na videos ko. So yung isa is yung about sa makiling. So makiling, and dito kasi ay parang short video siya on yung sa shape ng mountain, and then there's a picture of the lady, yung diwata, si Makiling na nakahiga. So parang na correlate ko yung itsura ng mountain dun sa appearance talaga nung babaeng nakahiga, which is si Makiling. Then, ito talaga yung aking highlight sa TikTok, yung DIY starer. So, I created here an improvised na starer. Nagamit lang yung ating, yung portable electric fan and some modification doon sa ating electric fan. Then, I also do some biochem tutorials or biochem study tips. So, yun po. And then, this one, ito yung siguro kung aalisin ko yung Makiling, this will be the top 3. Yung I also created this yung explanation video about the start or the genesis of the Philippine archipelago. So something touching the geology naman. So kung napapansin nyo po, I started with the name yung Seikagaku Sensei for the biochemistry supposedly, but I'm also doing now yung wide range of science content. So like for this one, yung sa geology. So, dito madaming natuwa po dito kasi nakita nila paano yung archipelago natin ay nag-start talaga 55 million years ago. Nakuha ko yung video from the YouTube, pero wala siya nung mga descriptions. So, something lacking yung information. The animation is good, but yung information is kulang. So, I tried to research like this one, si Hall, and then I also added yung reference book namin sa UPLB, the NatSci 2, the Living Planet. Yan. And then, nilagay ko lang yung mga descriptions, and then I uploaded it in TikTok, and lo and behold, medyo naka-reach naman siya ng malaking audience. And then, we have reactions na mataas-taas din po. Yan. So, let me tell you about my story, how I started talaga. I have a personal TikTok around November 2020. This is around 6 months after we had the lockdown ng March. Kasi ako yung ko noon, sabi ko, ayokong mag-TikTok kasi hindi naman ako magaling sumayaw o ganito, o kumanta. I don't have the talent. Tapos, nung November, pati kasi din sabi natin may mga security issue noon sa TikTok. Then, eto na, I gave it na. Mag-TikTok na siguro ako just for me to be entertained. So, I started with a personal TikTok, and then yung personal TikTok ko na yon, nag-run siya from January hanggang February. Kasi yan, for entertainment lang, sayaw-sayaw, kanta, stitch ng ganito. Until nung January 2021, I saw a video, parang POV, yung sa perspective nyo, point of view, na yung sa video ko na yan po ay ang content niya is yung napayagan ka mag-lab, pero yung pala ay end of the world na nung araw na yun. So parang, di ba? So yun, medyo science naman yung content kasi I'm in my full laboratory na suit, yung lab gown, naka-mask ako, I have my mga equipment ko dito sa bahay. Tapos I'm mimicking the laboratory yung situation. Tapos yun lang, the bad side is yung POV kasi is that day is also the end of the world. Diba? Terrible POV. Pardon po dyan. No, nung February 21, so dito na ako nag-start na lumipat doon sa new TikTok ko, which is the Seikagaku Sensei. And then, since then, I use the TikTok, the account na Seikagaku Sensei for aid in teaching. So, somehow, there's a shift in the, yung utility ng TikTok from entertainment to something that you can use in teaching as an aid in teaching. So I'm doing that until now. So I have 166 videos. So I'm just starting pa lang naman po. Okay. Now, let me share with you yung sources of inspiration ko for creating science content TikTok videos. So number 1 ay ito. Yung unang na-pinpoint ko is yung lack or need of scientific explanation. This is very rampant. Madaming ganito sa TikTok, yung may magbe-video on something, tapos hindi nila ma-explain. Like for example, ito pong nakikita nyo dito, this one is yung sa sasakyan, parang napansin nung ating nung nag-upload nito na umuusok na yung manibela niya. And then, so that's the observed. So ngayon, nung napanood ko siya, dahil somehow may alam naman ako sa physics, ini-inspect ko yung video, and then, na-pinpoint ko yung cause. So yung cause pala ay ito, probably this one, yung ating rubber suction hooks, yung mga nakalagay sa ating windshield. So, after that, nag-research na ako, nagbabasa-basa na din ako, nire-refresh ko yung physics ko, kasi I love physics din. So, I try now to explain the physics behind it. And yung nagamit ko na concept dito is yung ating rubber suction hook will serve as a lens, converging lens, so that yung light rays natin, when it hits this lens, it will converge into a focal point. And then yung focal point na yon is coinciding with the surface of the manibela. And then kaya siguro nagsa-start na siya mag-ignite kasi iba the light rays from the sun, pag na-concentrate siya, it might trigger yung ating sa ignition. So mag-trigger siya ng ignition. So yun yung ginawa ko na that's how I create yung mga TikTok videos like number one. Ini-explain ko yung video na nakita ko sa TikTok, and then I share it. And then nung na-share ko naman siya, may na enlighten somehow yung ating mga viewers. So, yun, nasabi ko dun sa video na kapag ganyan ay iwasan nating iwanan yung rubber suction hooks kasi that might cause or trigger yung flame inside your car. Ayan. So, that's one. Lack or need of scientific explanation. So, as a content creator, I do this. Pag may nakita ko, I stage, I do it, then I explain. Ayun po. Tapos, ito hindi pa naman masyado itong nangyayari, yung ating misinformation or fake news. But nowadays kasi TikTok is also, yung pervasive din kasi yung yung fake news. So, wala pa naman ako na content na ganyan. But last time, I also commented the creator na yung use niya ng wording like acceleration of gravity versus acceleration due to gravity. So yung tamang term is yung acceleration due to gravity. Yun po. So another source of inspiration ko on doing itong mga content ko, science content ko, is yung alternative experiment. As I mentioned earlier, gustong-gusto ko yung nag-create ako ng alternatives. So for example, if I may share ito, this one is taken from the teaching guide ng grade 9 science. So this one is around 2014. Ito pa yung draft na version. And then it's suggested there na yung sa volcano formation ng earth science, grade 9, third quarter, ay yung gagamit ka lang ng flour, pebbles, gravel, tapos sa shock namin ng aking cooperating teacher, hi ma'am, sana nakikinig ka. Siya yung aking siya yung nag-trigger sa akin na i-explore itong gantong itong ganitong content. Yon, ang explanation ng teacher guide ay ibubuhos mo lang yung yung flour water mixture o kaya yung may gravel or yung may sand. Then for us parang hindi siya tama. So there's a need for alternative experiment. So that's why ito ito yung na-create ko na isang alternative. So if I have time, can we watch this one? Yan. Okay, so yan po. Ang naging alternative experiment namin ay yung may symbolism, may mga meaning kasi yung mga ginamit. Yung flour water mixture will be your lava, your plate will be the surface of the earth, and hindi nyo po napapansin sa ilalim niyan, there's a balloon that serves as the magma chamber. And then yung laman, yung content ng ating balloon is the flour water mixture. So sa loob, magma siya. Pag nakalabas na siya, it's a lava. And then the way you press it, yun yung ma-relate ng estudyante yung yung process kung paano na-form yung volcano. And this is more relatable or mas ma-appreciate nila yung ganito kaysa dun sa original na describe or yung prescribed ng ating teacher guide noon. Yun po. So this one is an alternative volcano formation experiment. So I'm willing naman to share. So yun yung goal ko kasi sa TikTok ko, to share yung aking mga videos. This is for sharing naman po. Yan. Okay? Another one is yung sa same na grade level, kasi I'm assigned na maging intern noon sa grade 9 and natatapat sa akin ay earth science, though I'm a chemistry major. So yung viscosity rays, again, there's something wrong with it. So we conceptualize another experiment. This time, medyo food naman siya. This one is yung ating suman and yung lihiya, yung sauce. So yung napapansin nyo dito, the exact shape of the suman resembles the volcano, and then yung ating lihiya, yung sauce natin, may different siyang consistency. So that's the lava. And then yung consistency kasi ay ang determining factor doon is yung content nung sugar. So in the sense naman doon sa volcano, yun naman yung content ng silica. So the more silica you have, the more sugar, then sticky siya. So ang tendency is it will not float or it will not flow far, and mas matagal yung iti-take niya na travel time compared doon sa isa na malabnaw yung ating sauce. So ganito yung ginagawa ko lagi po sa TikTok ko, something na ma-visualize ng students yung ating experiments. That's the challenge kasi with science, na yung it should always come with yung skills na dapat ma-practice mo siya, magawa mo siya on your own para ma-appreciate mo siya. Okay? So yan, this is all about volcanoes. So yung ginagawa naming technique dito is yung localization or improvisation, and this one will be nagiging more realistic and relatable yung experiment, and nagiging mas connected siya dun sa topic. And as napanood yun naman po siguro doon sa ating previous na slide, tuwang-tuwa ang ating mga estudyante. So I think yung tantamount yung saya nila na matuto doon sa yung talagang natututo po sila yung ating mga estudyante. So di ba ganyan po yung aking ginagawa sa TikTok. Okay. So when you say localization or adaptation, pwede natin gamitin dito yung mga local varieties or local materials. So kung ano yung available sa ating vicinity, yun ang ginagamit natin for the experiment. And then yun nga din, we improve the previous methodology or process or procedure, and then we add something new. So like for example, sino ba namang makakaisip ng ganito na pagkatapos ng experiment, sabi nga ng estudyante ko noon, natuto ka na, nakakain ka pa. So nabusog sila after nun. Though yun, food siya, hindi naman siya lalawain. You observe mo lang naman yung flow ng ating sauce. After nun ay they consume the suman, and na-enjoy nila. Yun. Natuto ka na, nakakain ka pa, busog ka pa. Yun po. So, localization and improvisation is the key. Yun yung parang theme ko sa TikTok. Like for example, this one, yung DIY stirrer. So, pwede po ba nating panoodin siya for a few minutes? And then this one is yung physics. So, dito na lang tayo sa DIY stirrer.
Hi there! So, kailangan mo ba na magnetic stirrer pero wala kang pambili? So, ituturo ko sa video na to kung paano ginawa itong improvised na magnetic stirrer. For our materials, kailangan mo ng wood fan, stir bar, magnets, screwdriver, cutter, masking tape, and grip. So, ngayon, tulisin natin yung mga screw sa likod itong wood fan na ito. Yan. Ngayon, buksan na natin. Ngayon, i-check natin yung polarity ng mga magnets. Dapat kumapit kasi yung stir bar doon sa magnet. Ngayon, isi-secure natin yung mga magnets sa LC. Lagyan natin yan ng masking tape. Ngayon, ay ibabalik natin yung mga screw. And i-testing na natin. So, kuha tayo ng beaker. Lagyan natin yung stir bar. Lagyan natin ng tubig. And i-turn on natin yung fan. So, mapapansin nyo dito na umiikot naman ng maayos yung ating.
Yan po. So, that's the DIY stirrer na nagawa ko. And I shared it to TikTok, and then yan, it's my kumbaga that's the top one na rank one na most like and most viewed natin na content. So dito yon, electric fan, portable. Sino ba naman makakaisip na yung portable fan mo ay pwede mo siyang i-convert into a DIY steerer. I also got bashed for this kasi sabi nung ibang commenters, pwede namang steer mo lang ng kutsara or steering rod, pero kasi the purpose is for for those labs na walang steerer, paano yun? Paano sila mag-experiment? So kung ganito yung meron silang alternative, di ba po? So this is an alternative natin for steerer. We know kasi na mahal ang steerer, cost thousands, but if you have a portable fan, so low cost and readily available yung ating mga materials. So I'm trying here to address the issue on resource availability. So kung walang steerer, paano kaya natin gagawin yung experiment? And ito yung medyo wildest dream ko siya na maging accessible yung mga ganitong mga DIY to our far-flung communities na hindi nadadatna ng ganitong ating mga yung equipments. So less cost siya, low cost po siya. Yan. And this one, ito naman ay sa physics. Ang problem naman kasi sa physics is kapag projectile hindi natin siya ma-visualize yung trajectory. So ito, meron akong something na ginawa dyan, special treatment on the paper. And then kapag pag yan po ay may ball kasi doon, may marble. Pag yan po ay ayun, sana napansin nyo po na mag-iiwan siya ng bakat or matitrace yung yung naging trajectory ng ating marble. So I use a special treatment do sa paper and then may touch siya ng chemistry din. Yun po. So that's another source of inspiration. So yung mga ginagawa ko, I create it on my own, then I share it to TikTok. So that's my primary goal, to share what I have, yun po, and what I know. So ito medyo relevant sa atin ito dahil the current challenge is the COVID-19 pandemic, that we are on an online setup, yung mga ginagawa nating activities mostly online, the labs are closed, and then we are the only country in the world I know na close pa ang classrooms. So the question is, how do we conduct experiments? And this is where yung other problems pa, like yung sa COVID pandemic, it caused the rush digitalization of primary and secondary student education. That's why naging reliant tayo on YouTube. Ito yung pabiwo ng tinatawag na YouTube University. So sa ibang bansa, they move the lab experiments online or pinapadala yung mga gamit sa bahay. So parang mapapasana all ka, di ba? So that's the problem now na like for us na teaching ng science, paano natin siya magagawa? And then this is where yung isang advocacy na ginagawa ko is yung home-based experiment as an alternative. So when say home-based experiment, hindi na natin magagamit yung mga usual na glasswares, the reagents, but we can use yung mga readily available materials sa bahay like glass, yung glass instead of beaker, measuring cups instead of our graduated cylinder, and yung ating mga household reagents, yung mga available lang within our reach na pwede pa rin nating magawa yung mga experiments. So saan pumapasok yung TikTok ngayon sa content ko? So I do the experiments first hand, and then I pinapa-replicate ko siya dun sa mga students ko. So for example, this one, I prepared the NaOH solution. So ito yung parang gagayahin nila for the soap making process or soap making activity nila. So I prepared the TikTok ahead, and then sinishare ko na lang sa kanila paano gagawin. The problem lang dito is that yung measuring is compromise siya kasi wala naman tayong graduated cylinder. So ang ginawa na lang namin noon is ratio and proportion. If for example, the volume ng liquid sosa ay 20, tapos yung ating water ay 30. So ibig sabihin 20-30. Ibig sabihin kapag ratio and proportion, kung gumamit ka ng isang baso ng liquid sosa, and then yung gagamitin mong volume ng water na pang-dilute mo is 1.5 times dun sa ginamit mo nung sa glass. So that's how I prepare TikTok ahead of time and then share it to students. Then the other one is this one. Naka-create na yung mga students ko ng video, and then after the activity, they share it with me, and then I post it naman again to my TikTok. So kumbaga, yung nagawa nila, sinishare nila sa akin, and when with their consent, I share it to others. So kumbaga, madali lang palang gawin yung sabon sa bahay, di ba? With the minimal reagents that you have and yung ating mga glasswares o mga alternatives sa ating experiment. And ito po, the third one is a little bit challenge talaga, like yung steam distillation for my organic chemistry class last time, last semester. Ayoko naman na mag-rely ako on YouTube. So luckily I have this setup. So naipakita ko kung paano ginagawa yung steam distillation ng oregano. So if you will watch this one, so ipinakita ko dito yung setup, the parts, yung connections ng ating setup, and then this one will be kung saan natin makukuha yung essential oil. So kung nakikita nyo, may something blob on the surface. So that is the essential oil that I extracted from oregano. Yun po. So para ano pa rin, may nasi-share pa rin natin yung experience to students on how to do it kahit nasa bahay. So the point on home-based experiments is yung it could help us. It could be an aid to our lab class experiment. Yun po. Yan. So mga konting about sa home-based experiments, pros and cons, yung impact or effect niya, yung conduct of experiment is still possible, doable pa rin siya. And ito yung hinahabol ko kasi why I'm advocating and why I'm telling to students na, uy, gawin nyo itong experiment to. Kasi ang habol natin dito is yung experiential learning by doing. So mas ma-appreciate nila if they are doing the experiment kahit nasa comfort sila ng bahay. 'Di ba? Nag-online class tayo, we turn our bahay into an online setup for schooling. Why not we also convert somehow yung ating bahay, a portion of our house as a venue for our lab experiments. So ito yung aking kwarto. Dito ako usually nagagawa din ng content, and then I also do the experiments. Okay. Possible solutions, kung kakayanin ang ating school, kung mapahiram nila yung mga reagents or mga materials, pero yun nga, to avoid the contact, so ito minsan ay hindi rin doable. So last na solution is yung supervision. So last time, yung mga estudyante ko nag-paper chromatography sila. So talagang sinusubaybayan ko sila, and yung ginagawa nilang experiment, they consult, sir, tama ba yung ginagawa namin? Tama ba to? Yon, and then I react or I comment na, oh, tama yung ginagawa mo, so go lang. And ano pa yung mga potential problems lang natin? Yung reagents kasi ay kahit household reagent, yung grade niya, may something effect pa rin siya on our health. So, yon. And ito, dito ay sineset aside na natin yung battle about battle between qualitative and quantitative. So, hindi na natin kasi magiging super quantitative yung data kasi nga we're using alternative materials lang naman. So, ang natin dito is the qualitative, and yung experience nila na matuto na gawin pa rin yung experiment kahit nasa bahay. So, ang habol kasi natin dito is yung skill pa rin and the experience nila na mag-experiment. Yun po. So, ganito yung mga ginagawa ko sa TikTok ko. So, ito, mga bite-sized lessons in TikTok, survival tips, alternative na equipment. I also do some problem-solving TikToks. For example, I told my class na sagutan ito ay sagutan. May magko-consult sa akin. Then, ang ginagawa ko ay sinishare ko sa kanila yung sagot through the video, through TikTok. And ito, medyo kakaiba siya kasi I also include sa content ko yung setup during online. Ito, katulad na sabog ako nung araw na yon. So, what happened? And ito, for fun lang naman siya. So, parang hindi lahat all throughout ay science yung content. Okay? So, again, these are my content. Napaka-wide variety na siya. Hindi lang siya bio and chem. I also touch other fields like botany. Nakakapag-botany din ako ng hapyaw or ecology or physics. And I think I owe this to my background nung undergrad when I took the BSMST in UPLB, na ang ay naging versatile ako sa content, na hindi lang sa chem, but I can also do some content on biology, on physics, and yung math kasi hindi ko na masyadong magagawa yon, so I leave that to other content creators. But yon, the versatility na yung training no undergrad, I owe it to my program noon. Yan. So I would like to end my presentation with 4 E's, and I think this will be the key takeaways. So the 4 E's na gustong i-share sa inyo is, number 1 is to educate. So we use the TikTok as a new avenue or new site for offering bite-sized learning na dapat verified, correct, na science-related information ng ating ino-offer, so that we are not multiplying fake news or misinformation. So that's 1, educate. Number 2 is based on experience na using TikTok, this is my space to express my creativity or my resourcefulness. Yon, and then I share it to others. Then number 3 is a tip. You explore your God-given hidden talent, your strengths. Malay mo, yun yung swak na content sa'yo, na content mo for TikTok, and magbo-boom siya. And then last one is to engage people through your content. So you share what you have. So sabi nga nila, you can share what you don't have. So i-share natin yung ating strengths, yung ating mga talents to others. So parang ganito nag-encapsulate yung aking story on my journey sa TikTok with the 4 E's natin. Lastly, I would like to end this presentation with this quotation from Tom Cross. Your purpose in life is to use your gifts and talents to help other people. Your journey in life teaches you how to do that. And that will be all. Thank you very much po sa inyong pakikinig.
Take this opportunity to call back our resource speakers for this morning. We have Dr. E and Teacher Justin para naman masagot natin yung mga questions nyo, burning questions nyo when it comes to creating content, maybe how to start becoming an edu creator. Ayan. Siguro while they're typing, I'd like to ask personally, parang do you think requirement or prerequisite that you have some background on multimedia? Parang dapat ba maalam ka na when it comes to video editing? Yeah. What's your take on my question, Dr. E? Go ahead.
Bukod sa technical know-how na marunong tayo mag-edit, gumamit ng cellphone, I think yung kagustuhan natin na gamitin yung platform ng YouTube, TikTok, o yung mga social media to teach, yun muna bago tayo mag-dive in dun sa mga skills, technical skills na kailangan natin. Kasi basta marunong kang mag-record, and I'm sure naman nakapag-record na sila ng video using their phone, okay na yun kasi matututunan rin lang naman nila. Kasi kung meron kang marudob na kagustuhan na maging edu creator, matututunan mo yan sa YouTube. Marami kang video na mapapanood. Marami magbibigay sa'yo ng tips kung ano yung mga equipments na readily available sa'yo na magagamit mo. Pero kung wala sa puso mo na kung nasa puso mo lang is maging popular, makakuha ng maraming subscribers, I think being an edu creator is not the route for you. So, kailangan muna yung intention nandun.
Thank you so much, Dr. E. How about si Teacher Justin and Teacher Joff? Anong take nyo dun sa question ko? And mga kasama, type away your questions while we still have the time.
Actually, for me, sir, actually hindi naman kailangan susunod yung pag-i-edit For me, I started with just point and shoot. Kung nakita niyo yung una kong effort sa paggawa ng video tutorial for my students, I just point the camera to my laptop. Kita naman na yun yung laptop ko. Tapos naka-project yung PowerPoint presentation. Tapos I have a piece of paper sa baba. Tapos itatapat ko lang yung camera doon sa piece of paper. Tapos yun na, nakagawa na ako ng video, walang edit-edit. So, yung mga edit, mga tech stuff, yung mga know how to edit, ganyan, darating yun. Papasok kayo doon step by step. And you will see the improvement from your previous videos na, uy, unti-unti nang nagkakaroon ng editing si Teacher Justin. Unti-unti na ako nagkakaroon ng mga additional mga templates, ganyan, mga effects. So, again, 1% improvement every time. 1% improvement. So, yun lang.
Thank you, Teacher Justin. How about you, Teacher Joff?
Ako, di rin ako masyadong magaling sa editing. So, yung ginawa ko lang ay nood-nood lang din sa YouTube. Ako, pag nagre-record ako ng lectures ko, OBS, noon pa, dati struggle talaga ako manood. Maggawa ng lecture video on OBS. So, yun naman kasi ay matututunan din eventually. Pero kung yung content mo ay may substance na naman yung video mo, kahit hindi masyadong maganda yung editing, magki-click siya. Yun yung nangyari sa Makiling ko noon, parang binasta-basta ko lang siya na it's a collage of this video, tapos yung photo ko na kinunan ko siya, and then I uploaded it in after nag-boom na siya na yung about sa story nung Makiling. Yun. Editing is minor lang yan, pero natututunan naman po siya.
So, yung mga teachers natin, wag silang matakot, no? To start small, ika nga. Kasi the eventual skills will come up as you do more videos, as you create more content. Ayan, so I think our first question is very suitable to Teacher Joff kasi ang question is home-based experiment. Sabi ni Ma'am Florenda Quijano Felicio, what would be possible home-based experiments in biochemistry daw?
Thank you, ma'am, for that question. So, share ko, nung last semester kasi di ba, nag-teach ako ng biochemistry for BS Biology. So, parang nakailang kaming home base. The first one is yung DNA isolation. So, that's one. The second one is yung soap making. Kaya yung mga hinighlight ko sa slide ko, yung mga videos doon. And then, the other one is yung characterization ng ating flour. Teka, wait lang. If I remember it right. Yung gluten sa flour, kasi yung flour, di ba, it's a carbohydrate siya, tapos may content siya na carbohydrates and then protein. So ang goal namin kasi noon parang hitting two birds with one stone, na pinag-isolate ko sila nung gluten, which is the protein, and then na-isolate nila din yung sa carbohydrate, and then mayroon kami mga characterization tests for the protein and the carbohydrate. Like, ang isang modification namin noon for indication ng starch, yung presence, yung iodine indicator. But kasi nga wala tayong ganun, so ang pinagamit ko sa kanila betadine. So betadine also contains iodine. So in the presence of starch, ay mag-react pa rin yung betadine. So magkakaroon siya ng color, dark blue color na indication. Tapos ano pa ba yung isa? I'm looking for my lab manual na ginawa ko last time. I can share naman yung mga experiments na pwede natin gawin sa home-based experiment on biochem. The mere fact kasi po, ma'am, na biochem, di ba? Biochem. So, maaari nating ma-observe yung mga experiments na to kahit sa bahay lang. So, I'm willing naman po to share the list of experiments na nagawa ko sa biochemistry.
Ayan, siguro we can share that in kasamateachers.ph, no? So that can spark discussion among our teachers. Ayan, another question, and this is for the group, kasi I'm also very curious to know your insights on this. Sabi ni, sorry, I can't read the name, pero may disadvantages ba ang TikTok, SOCMED, or social media, or YouTube sa mga kabataan ngayon as part of their learning? Maybe I'll start with Dr. E with this question.
Disadvantage, for me, hindi yung YouTube or yung social media yung disadvantage na nakikita ko, kasi tool lang natin siya na ginagamit to teach right now, especially during the pandemic na wala tayong choice kundi mag-distance learning. And I think it's a blessing na meron tayong platform like YouTube, TikTok, at yung mga social media para makapagturo tayo remotely. Ang problema is kung paano mo gagamitin yung tool na meron tayo. So, it's still up to the educator and the teacher to be able to make sure na yung paggamit natin ng ating medium of instruction ay effective sa ating mga estudyante. So, yung disadvantage, hindi siya doon sa platform. Yung disadvantage is kung paano nyo i-deliver at ginagamit yung social media para makapagturo sa mga estudyante mo. Kasi at this time, we don't have a lot of choices para makapagturo tayo through distance learning, kundi gamitin yung mga available na platform na meron tayo ngayon. That's my take.
Thank you, Dr. E. How about you, Teacher Justin? What's your take on the question?
Actually, the same answer with Dr. E. The way the user use the platform. If I'm the teacher, kung paano ko siya ginagamit. Okay, if you're the student, tapos yung disadvantage niya is madali kayong ma-distract if ever. One swipe lang as entertaining video na siya, 'di ba? So mawawala ka na sa focus sa study. So I think one of the disadvantage that I can see pagdating sa mga social media platforms is the distraction. Na mamaya one click or one swipe away, instead of you're studying mathematics, nandun ka na sa ibang interesting other videos or entertainment videos na na pinapanood or kadalasang pinapanood ng mga kabataan natin. Pero again, nasa user yung paggamit ng platform. If you're there to entertain, dapat entertainment yung papanoorin mo. If you're there to educate or to learn, watch educational videos. So, kaya meron tayong search bar sa ating mga platforms like YouTube, may search bar siya. Sa TikTok, you have a search bar there. So, you can type in yung mga topics na gusto nyong aralin. So, for example, number theorem or for example, remainder theorem. Type nyo sa TikTok, yung remainder theorem, maraming videos na lalabas. So, again, nasa tao or nasa gumagamit yung responsibility in learning a certain topic, a certain lesson. So that's my take. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Justin. So we have another question. This time I'll ask Teacher Geoff naman. Sabi dito ni Sir Mark Ordonio, have you encountered TikTok users who give problematic comments to your content? I think si Teacher Geoff actually nasabi niya kanina, nakwento niya na meron daw ng babash kasi nga parang pwede naman na gumamit ng stirrer pero bakit kailangan ng ganon? So how do you address them daw, Teacher Geoff?
So, dalawang ways. Yung isa, muna, yung replies lang. O kaya pag talagang I create special video for that. Pero ako kasi ayoko yung ipahiya yung as much as possible, wag natin ipahiya yung nag-comment on something na wrong. So ang goal pa rin natin is enlighten pa rin siya. So yun nga, replies lang na muna. Pero pag talagang hindi, kailangan talagang i-correct videos talaga yung pinopost ko. And that happened one time siguro. And then nung kumbaga parang counter attack ko sa kanya or statement. So nag-post ako ng video and after that parang nalinawan na daw siya. So nag-stop na yung parang struggle between us nung nag-comment.
Thank you so much, Teacher Geoff. I'd like to also hear from Dr. E and Teacher Justin. Pag may mga problematic users or parang medyo nang babash na, how do you deal with them, Dr. E?
Sa akin yung experience ko lang, yung difference between TikTok, tsaka Facebook, at tsaka YouTube when it comes to comments. Yung TikTok kasi, sobrang convenient ng TikTok. Nakahiga ka lang, naka-cellphone ka lang, kahit anong pwesto mo, swipe up. So yung convenience na yon ng panonood mo ng mga contents, nadadala yon sa convenience ng mga users na mag-comment at magbigay ng immediate response do sa nararamdaman nila. Kay negative yan, kay positive. So, yun yung napapansin ko sa TikTok, na mas maraming mga negative comments akong nakukuha kesa dun sa YouTube at sa Facebook. And I think it's because of the convenience of TikTok. And when it comes to dealing with negative comments, sa akin, as an educator, tulad nga ng sinabi ko, yung intention ko is to teach. My intention is to help struggling students. And whenever I hear or see negative comments na irrelevant na at masyadong ang attack is just to, I don't know, parang give yung frustrations nila sa subjects nila, binabato nila sa'yo. So, ini-ignore ko na lang siya because sa akin, as an edu-creator, yung mga negative comments, hindi ko na talaga sila pinapansin because I'm not here to entertain and I'm not here to earn subscribers. I'm here to teach and help struggling students na nakikinabang ng content ko.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. E, for that insight. How about you, Teacher Justin?
Actually, ayan. Hindi mawawala yung mga negative comments na yan and mga,
social media
let's say, bashers or yung mga panggulo. Pero for me, as a, parang nang nagsisimula ako as an edu-creator starting, parang sobrang nakaka-apekto for me yung mga negative comments. Kasi sa dami-dami ng positive, yun yung kita mo yun yung mapapansin mo, bakit siya nag-negative comment? I should be loved for doing this, something like that. Yun yung iniisip ko nun. Pero as going back to my goals, 'di ba, yung 3 goals ko, para kanino ba itong mga videos na to? If you don't like my videos, then scroll up or go to a different video. Kasi I don't control you. You're not being controlled by my videos to watch my videos. I'm not saying gawin mo to, panoorin mo to, and so on and so forth. So you have the option to swipe up or to click the next video. So kung may mga nag-comment ng negative, I just leave them. Sige, okay. Thank you for your feedback. That's a good feedback. Let me do my best next time. So ganun na ako nag-iisip ngayon. Before, sobrang affected ako, parang di ako makatulog kasi may nag-negative comment, may nag-dislike. Oh my God. Something like that. Ganun yung reaction ko for the first time na na-encounter ko yung mga negative comments na yan. Pero now, seeing them, okay, always remember my goals for my students, for my fellow teachers, for myself. That's it. Period. Tapos na. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Justin. No, it really puts things into perspective. Tsaka yung noise, parang hindi yan important kasi dapat clear tayo in terms of our objectives and goals. So I think yung final question natin would be the perfect opportunity also for everyone for their parting words. Kasi yung question here is, what are the common struggles for those na balak mag-umpisa as creators and how to solve them? Yan ay question ni Christian Mier Escriba. So maybe I'd like to start with Teacher Joff naman this time sa question na to. Parang how to solve them and common struggles.
Yun. So to answer that question po, yung common struggle kasi minsan lagi ay yung parang mapapansin mo na if you uploaded something, then it doesn't click. Pero if you wait for a while, then nag-gain siya ng engagements. So bigla siyang magso-shoot up yung engagement. So just wait for you do your part, you upload your videos, don't parang kasi iba ginagawa, dinidelete agad yung video. So wag, hayaan nyo lang na mapansin siya. Don't be frustrated kung hindi siya pinapansin kasi there will be a time talagang magbo-boom siya yung yung content mo. And then ano pa ba? Wait. The question nga ulit is yung struggles, yung sa akin kasi ang struggle ko for the science yung mga materials na ginagamit ko. Sometimes out of my own pocket I buy yung mga reagents or materials. Pero ito hindi ko iniisip na yung gastos ay gastos. So yun kasi ay may pagpupuntahan naman siya. So it's a little sacrifice that I do for my science content. Pero I think na worth it naman kung yung pag-share ko ng mga videos ko on my experiments na nagagawa ko sa bahay, home base, ay naman siya, yung balik ay yung learning sa students, and that's okay with me. So yung ganun po yung struggles ko as a content creator now.
Pero
Kaya
since on the topic of struggles, in my case as a content creator, kung i-share ko yung struggle ko is a consistency. Mahirap maging consistent, especially like me. Nag-start ako noong 2013 until now, I'm still continuing to create content. At yung paghanap ng oras at paghanap ng yung oras ng paggawa ng mga contents, yun yung pinaka-struggle ko. But lately, nagagawan ko siya ng paraan na just to stay consistent, especially dun sa mga nag-uumpisa, na kasi minsan makaka-encounter kayo na parang nakakatamad ng gumawa ng content or masyadong maraming oras yung nagugugol. Pero just push it and know your goals. At mag-set kayo ng goals. Like me, nagsaset ako lagi ng goal. Ito nga, meron akong goal dito. So, since nagsastruggle ako sa consistency, so naglagay ako ng mga topics na kailangan kong ma-hit. And ito yung nagbibigay sa akin ng way kung paano ko mag-umpisa ulit ng mga contents. Kahit 1,000 plus na yung contents ko, I'm still creating because meron akong nakasulat na mga goals, nakasulat na topics, and it helps me with my consistency. And yun yung
Okay. Sa akin naman po, for me, my common struggle is finding the time to work on my videos. Kasi, di ba, we are teachers sa umaga hanggang hapon. Tapos yung gabi, syempre, ilalaan natin sa mga, syempre, family time, checking ng mga projects ng mga bata, and so on and so forth. So, saan ko naisisingit yung mga content creation? So, that was my first struggle, my time management. So, ang ginawa ko nun, nag-set, katulad ng ginawa ni ni Dr. E, is I set my goals. Sige, for today, I need to finish the following topic. So, during my free time, hanap ako ng free time ko sa schedule. Since buti na lang last year, medyo maluwag yung isang araw ko. May isang araw akong free. So, dun ko sinasaksak yung shooting and video editing. So, meron akong shooting and video editing day. So, dun ko nilalagay yung aking oras for content creation. And then, pagka naka-edit na ako, ready for posting na siya, I will upload it as soon as possible. So, parang hahanapan nyo talaga siya ng oras. Kasi hindi, whether you're going to just point and shoot or you're going to do an editing, hindi siya ganun parang kabilis gawin pagka nandun ka na sa setup. Kasi marami kayong mga konting edit sa script, konting edit sa visuals, and so on. So, it will really take time. So, kung may free time kayo, doon nyo gawin. And, yun, ako ginawa ko dati, rush talaga. Rush videos yung iba kasi need ko na siya to present in our class para ma-send ko na sa mga students. So, yung ibang videos ko, rush videos. One day kong ginagawa. So, hagol oras, ganon. So, ngayon, natuto na akong mag-time management. I set a certain hour for shooting. Tapos, I set another hour if ever I need reshooting, and so on and so forth. So, naka-schedule na siya. And pagdating sa TikTok content creation naman, since puro examples lang naman siya na ginagawa ko, I spend 20 minutes or 15 minutes to create content, video content. Tapos, upload ko na. And yun, nakakagawa. Kasi, ang convenient lang kasi sa TikTok is, it's 1 minute. And you can teach a certain topic, a certain example for 1 minute. So, nakakatuwang i-explore yung TikTok eh. Kasi, for 1 minute, may natutunan ka na, di ba? Ang galing. So, yun yung ginawa ko. Yun yung common struggle ko last year. And somehow, this year, yung management ng oras. And my solution is really have time management schedule. So, ayun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for the answer, no? And for sharing your insights. Sorry, nag-drop yung internet connection ko kanina. Alright, so maybe we can nawala ako. Yeah, nawala ako na ano yan, internet problem talaga sa Philippines. Kahit live. Yan, encounter natin. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite our teachers to like, subscribe in your respective channels. No? Siguro let's start with Teacher Joff to
Yan.
invite our teachers.
Yun po, magandang umaga ulit sa ating mga kasamang guro at mga estudyante na sa Facebook Live. So again, I'm Joffrey de los Reyes. Sa TikTok world, ako si Seik Kagaku Sensei. So please follow me. I'm doing there yung mga experiments, home base, sinishare ko. So sana ay kung magamit nyo sa klase, ma-replicate nyo. But yun din, ang concern ko is yung safety. So you always think of your safety before you replicate the activities. Ito kasi pina-plan out ko siya, ay yun din yung siguro dapat kong sinagot kanina dun sa Q&A, the struggle of me just doing the content creator, content ng science experiment, yung time. Kasi kapag minsan nag-fail yung experiment, I have to reshoot everything. So again, I'm Seik Kagaku Sensei. Please follow me for science content. Thank you very much po.
Thank you, Teacher Joff. How about you, Teacher Justin? Ano ba yung mga channels that you have where your teachers can find you?
Hi, I'm Teacher Justin, and I'm an educator. I have my YouTube channel, Teacher Justin, and sa aking TikTok, Teacher Justin Labadnoy. Kasi yung Teacher Justin, taken na pala siya doon sa TikTok nung ginawa ko siya. So, Teacher Justin Labadnoy yung TikTok account ko, and almost every day, I upload educational content for TikTok, math content. So, mga examples that can be helpful sa mga students natin, especially pagdating sa sa mga algebra and algebra, geometry, trigonometry. And I'm looking forward to see educational content sa TikTok kasi yun yung inaabangan kong makakita ng mga edu-creator sa TikTok kasi students are asking for content like trigonometry, calculus, and other topic na hindi ko pa reach kasi I'm a grade 10 teacher, so hindi ko pa ganun na bibigyan ng oras. So if you're a fan of trigonometry, calculus, okay, go for it kasi it's nice to help students. So that's it. Thank you, and I hope nakatulong po kami.
Thank you, Teacher Justin. And finally, we have Dr. E. Please invite our teachers to like and subscribe.
But first, salamat po sa mga nanood ng webinar natin for today. And thank you for kasama for inviting the three of us, si Sir Joff tsaka si Sir Justin, and for giving us this opportunity to share yung mga platforms namin sa TikTok, sa YouTube, and sa Facebook. So, yes, so hopefully mag-subscribe kayo sa mga channels namin na makakatulong sa inyo sa pagtuturo ninyo ng mathematics or ng physics or ng kahit ano pang mga subjects na meron kaming sinishare. And by next year, magtuturo po ako sa DLSU for Distance Ed. So sa mga future content creators na gustong matuto at malaman yung mga techniques and skills na meron ako from writing the script, from using the camera, technology to use, meron pong i-open ng DLSU na elective course for content creators at ako po yung magiging professor nila for that course. So hopefully mag-enroll kayo at mag-inquire, and lahat po yun open for undergrad and graduate students to take that course. Next year pa po yun. So thank you po.
Thank you, Dr. E. And pwedeng sampler natin yung next week, no? Kasi next week would be our how-tos, how to create videos, how to choose content, and how to choose platforms. So perfect yan for next week and also for the elective course. Ayan. Again, thank you very much, Dr. E, Teacher Joff, and Teacher Justin.